Welcome back to First Issues. We pick up our discussion on change management with Nikki Jarvis. Well, this time, we talk about the soft skills that leaders need to possess to successfully carry their organizations through change. Is there a soft skill that these leaders need to have to be able to successfully carry through their organization through specific changes?
Absolutely. Change management is a lot of soft skills. The most imperative or most important skill is communication. Every layer of leadership, from your highest level of leadership all the way down, needs to be able to communicate in a visionary way, a tactical way, and also understand what are the values of the people I'm leading so that I can better communicate to those values, which will help that intrinsic motivation or that internal motivation of every single individual who are trying to move along the change.
Well, like I said earlier, change is it can be uncomfortable, it can be very unpleasant. And so primarily because there's a mindset that change is bad, when in actual fact, it can be quite a good thing. So how do you think that negative perception around change can be turned around?
There's a couple of components there. The first is, along any change journey, there will be resistance and pockets of resistance that come up. There's something called the Kubler-Ross change curve, which is actually the same curve that we go through for grief. It's the same thing that we experience in change. So at first we're hesitant, maybe we have a little bit of depression, resistance, but eventually we come out on the other side of change. So with that, it's important that we manage that resistance along the way. So we have to understand what's underneath that mindset, where is that negativity coming from, and then the leader and the project team who's driving the change can more distinctly address those resistant points.
So, Nikki, what of somebody who's not within an organization, but they're going through changes? How can they manage that change, whether be it behavioral, whether it be environmental? How do they go about being successful in making sure that they come out on top?
We tend to go to a researcher from University of Virginia. His name is Jonathan Haidt. He was a psychologist. And he said that any behavior change, we have to influence two parts of ourselves. That's the elephant and the rider, right? So the elephant is our emotional side. That's our heart piece of any change. And the rider is the mindset or the mind. So for example, say we want to get up earlier in the morning. That's a change I think many of us want to make. Yeah. The rider, set your alarm clock for 5 a.m. the next day. That was the mind discipline to make that change successful. But then the next morning, that alarm clock rolls. It's maybe a little chilly in the morning. Those blankets feel really good. Yeah. The elephant or that heart piece of you is what keeps you sleeping in instead of actually getting up. So for any behavioral change to be successful, we have to influence the rider, the mindset, and more so the elephant. So that becomes a question of, how do I intrinsically drive my heart to really need this? So for that example, a lot of times people will look to trying to have a healthier lifestyle, or maybe their mental health is suffering a bit, and getting up earlier will help exercise to drive endorphins. So as soon as we're able to really influence the heart or the elephant, as well as the rider, that's when we'll have successful individual change.